everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Heidi from My Reading Life, and I'm here today to film a tag video. Now, I'm in a different location than where I normally am, sitting in front of my dining room table with some nice flowers in the background because it's been raining for about 1100 years here, and the sun will not shine. So I thought in order to cheer myself up, I'd film with these flowers behind me because I need some flowers and sunshine in my life somehow. So anyway, I am going to be doing the Nosey Librarian Tag. I was tagged by Mark at Richardson Reads and also by Bookie Laura. I will link both of their channels down below. Thank you very much, both Mark and Laura. I really like this tag. I think it was originally created by Strip Cover Lit, so I'll link them down below as well. But I have not prepared for this at all, so we're just going to go into it and answer the questions as we go. Let's see how it works out. All right, the first question is, what has been the most influential library in your life? There's been a lot of libraries that have been very influential for me, starting with my mother's personal library when I was a kid. But I would have to say my library that I currently use today, the Eastport Public Library, called the PV Library. It is a small town library, but it is wonderfully curated by an absolutely amazing staff of librarians. They always get a wide variety of the newest novels. We've been very lucky in that some different individuals have left endowments and funding to the library so that interlibrary loans are all paid for out of an endowment fund, so you don't have to pay anything and you can request anything through the Maine State interlibrary loan system. And I use that library constantly. I first got my library card there when I was in high school, and I'm now in my 40s and I'm still using it on the regular. So that has been my go-to source for reading material for a long period in my life, and I just absolutely love that library. Question 2, honest assessment. What will they title your biography? It's not that she's ignoring you, it's just that she's reading. I think that would be the best title for me. I'm the type of person that when I'm reading, I just block everything else out. And this has been a problem for me pretty much since I have been able to read on my own. In school, I was constantly missing class because I wouldn't hear the teacher call the class to order. And halfway through the class, a teacher would walk by and rap on my desk and say, "Heidi, you're gonna join us today?" And even today I'll be reading and 10 minutes later I'll realize somebody in my family has spoken to me and I'll go, "Oh, what did you say?" Because when I'm in the book, I'm in it and I don't hear anything else around me. So that's definitely what the title of my biography would be. Question 3, the story from your life that you most hope your librarian never finds out. I mean, really, I don't think anything that I do in my life would cause my librarian any shock, except that maybe they would not be overly happy to hear that I read my library books while I'm eating. I try to be really careful, honest to God, but there is nothing that I enjoy more than to sit down and eat my lunch and be able to read a book while I'm doing it. I just find that highly enjoyable, and I don't think I'm going to stop at this late date. If I ever did mess up a book really badly, I would just replace it for the library. Question 4, favorite word. I think a word that I've consistently used throughout my life that I really love the sound of is obstreperous. I filter that, sprinkle that into my conversation all the time. I'm constantly using it to family members to the point where they've started using it as well. So I just love the word obstreperous. And I could possibly be considered obstreperous myself in some ways. Question 5, 3 weird things you are afraid of and 1 way you would prefer not to die. Okay, I don't know how weird these things are, but I am afraid of spiders. I very much dislike spiders, as some of you know, and continue to try to scare me with pictures of said spiders. Looking at you, Doris. And what else? I'm afraid of my kids dying, and I am afraid of fire. And the one way I would prefer not to die is in a fiery plane crash, or in any kind of plane crash. I think that would be a terrible way to die, because the utter terror in the moments leading up to your death would be horrible. And that's probably on my mind because I recently flew, so it makes it front of mind. Question 6, your favorite book as a grade schooler. I've talked many times on this channel about my love of the Laura Ingalls Wilder series. As a grade schooler, I can't think of any book that I loved more than the Little House series, although there were many books that I loved equally as well. I love Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell. What's another one? Oh, Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing by Judy Blume. Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White. Those are the ones that just spring immediately to mind, but there are just literally dozens and dozens more I could talk about. Question 7, what have your interactions with the police been like? I know and am related to various law enforcement officers, so I would say I generally have a good relationship with law enforcement. In my job, I work quite a lot. My office is actually next to the office of the Regional Marine Patrol officers. Those are the law enforcement officers that deal with marine resource violations, so I work with people in law enforcement. But I guess if we want to talk about a funny story, which is what I assume this question is all about, when I first was a licensed driver, which when I was a kid in Maine, you could get your driver's license at age 15. So I had my driver's license at age 15, and for that whole first year, I kept getting run into. I just had so many fender benders where either I ran into something or somebody ran into me, to the point where it was ridiculous. So that I kept having to interact with the police to deal with these. None of them were major car crashes. They were all just minor fender benders, and most of them were because people ran into me. So just happened to happen that way. Question 8, my all-time favorite book cover. Wow, that's a tough one. I'm not a huge, I appreciate a beautiful book cover as much as the next person, but I don't know that, there's any one particular book cover that I would consider like my all-time favorite. Nothing is coming to mind here. So I will put a picture here of The Overstory by Richard Powers, which was the most beautiful book cover, I thought, of the books that I read last year. I just loved that book cover, and it just was very appropriate to the story in that book. Question 9, how many places have you lived? Not very many. I currently live in the town next door to the town in which I grew up in Maine. So that's 2 places. I lived in Massachusetts when I went to college, so that's 3 places. And then I lived in Colorado Springs with my husband. That's where he was stationed in the U.S. Army right after college, so that's 4 places. And that's it. I think that's it. Yeah, 4 places. And question 10, tag 11 booktubers you like and admire, and why do you like and admire them, and compliment Strip Covered Lip. I did not prepare for this question, and so there's no way I'm going to remember 11 booktubers off the top of my head. So I will list 11 booktubers down below, and hopefully I can pick 11 that have not already been tagged in this tag, because it's quite, it's not a new tag. I was tagged quite a while ago for this. And I love you all, and just know that I appreciate everything that you do. I appreciate all booktubers for the work that they put into making content about books. And Strip Cover Lit, you dudes are like crushing it with the tags this year. You just have one coming out all the time. It's amazing. So good job. And that's it for me today. I hope you're all doing well and finding a good book to read, and I'll talk to you later.